Welcome to Arts News, folks. I'm Jimmy Ray here with you every Friday morning, 10 a.m., to talk about people, places, and things to do in the arts world of the Ozarks. An exciting show here. We have Joe Dillstrom in the studio to talk about his new record, Kilroy, and Leslie Forrester, the executive director of the Springfield Regional Arts Council, on a creative roadmap for the Ozarks. That and more coming up on Arts News. Support for Arts News today is provided by Dressler Peters Business Law Firm, committed to promoting music and the arts in the Ozarks by supporting local public radio, including KSMU's weekly arts newsletter, The Green Room. Information at DresslerPeters.com. And support is also provided by Pickwick Underground Framing, offering custom picture framing and installation. Open weekdays 10 to 5:30 and Saturdays by appointment at 611 South Pickwick Avenue. Information at PickwickUndergroundFraming.com.
April comes on with a stained glass forecast, makes you feel like you're living through the past. And the wind off of the lake makes the old marina sway like an answer to a question no one asked. By the morning, your roadside eyes locked on to a diner where time kept moving on. With your silver and your gold, you're the brightest one, I'm told. But it's the bronze in you that I would like to hold. Leave it alone, it'll be there tomorrow. But for now, this moment we'll borrow. Just a slice of space and time, the simplest words will do fine when yours is a counterpoint to mine.
I'm Jimmy Ray. You're listening to Arts News here on KSMU. That was Joe Dillstrom and the 5 o'clock Charlies off his new record, Kilroy. And joining me in the Arts News studio today, Singer-songwriter Joe Dillstrom. Welcome, brother.
Hey, thank you, man.
Always good to have friends, singer-songwriters on the show. And this one comes after your 2024 release.
Heartstring Tugs, man. You got it.
Another great record.
Yeah.
So on this one, what was the inspiration behind getting started on this? Because I know as you write songs, it's always kind of like, what's the point? Do you actually say, let's push record? Because I know you can get a pile of songs, you're weeding through them. Maybe you're thinking about who's going to be on them. What was the thing that pushed you over the hill here?
Totally. Funnily enough, it was pretty much writer's block because I was sitting there thinking, okay, how am I going to drum up 10 tunes or whatever? And I looked back and I went, you've got a pretty big discard pile. So why don't we look back and just see if we can prune those and see if anything can live together well, So
bring the rejects back.
Yeah, man. And I took about 20 songs, then filed it down to 15, then filed it down to 10. And I thought these all kind of have common themes, common things. I've kind of lived some of them now. And I think I can make them better than they were.
Yeah.
So the whole thing just became kind of revisiting the past, and through a variety of lenses.
So how far back were you reaching?
Man, I think Counterpoint, I wrote that song when I was 21 or something like that. And it started off as kind of a Simon and Garfunkel-y folk song, and kind of stayed that way for this. But back then I was trying to get that sort of stuff going. And then, other songs that were just a few years old, for the rest. But.
Excellent. So the 5 o'clock Charlies, who'd you employ here? Or is that just a fun turn of phrase?
Anytime I do a record, I try to come up with a fun name just to give it something, But, Jody Cottengim played the drums and it's just a killer drummer. He's got so much taste and tone in his playing. And Seth Darby played bass. And brought Stevie Newman in to play guitar on a couple of tunes.
Nice. Yeah. Well, that's quite a crew you got there. And behind the board?
Paul Carabello. Yeah, man. The one and only, he's such a good dude.
Did you guys employ the Sibley studio again? Or?
Yeah, we sure did, man. And a fun thing about that was he had all these 40s ribbon mics lying around.
Nice.
And I've got a couple of old amps. So we used 40s and 50s amps and mics, etc., to kind of do these 70s singer-songwriter songs about, contemporary things. And so it was just this cool merging of the past.
Yeah.
And that was part of the name of the record, Kilroy Was Here, because that's a World War II doodle that service members would put on bridges and walls and stuff. And so it kind of became a thematic, okay, well, I was here too, through these songs or whatever. And
nice.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. So whenever let's talk about process a little bit here, because you got some great cats playing here with you. Obviously, they probably don't need a lot of direction, but is it the kind of thing where you just say, here's a demo, do what you do, or do you have some direction going on? How's that work?
Yeah, with the guys this time around, I really wanted to kind of get the live performance aspect nailed down first. And so when we came in there, I had written out a couple charts, but also some sort of stage directions. We kind of, it goes quiet here and then we go up and then we go down, just outlining some of the dynamic changes of the songs. And after just talking it through and kind of sketching it, we just did kind of a raw take. Most of the songs on the record are first takes.
Nice.
Because I find with certain styles, especially this kind of stuff, sometimes the first take is the best, know? And then we did a couple tunes, one of the songs on there, Wish I Would Have Known, I'm playing pretty much just straight down the middle the whole time. And initially, the guys were doing the same thing. And when we heard playback, we're like, something isn't quite working, and Jody had a great idea of just, why don't I play kind of a staggered rumba over it? And then that caused Seth to kind of occupy a different lane, and then I'm still in the middle, and it just suddenly went 3-dimensional as opposed to 2,
Yeah.
So that's the thing about great players, such as yourself, who can, widen the scope of a thing. Just a small suggestion like that completely opened up the song,
Let's hear a little bit of that groove that you're talking about here on Wish I.
The storm takes a smoke break in the fall. Wherever you end up, there you are. Chattanooga through to Alfalfa, dairy farms and exit signs. And And I wish I would have known. Wish I would have known. Wish you're on the open road. You take a little more wherever you go. Is there anything left for me to say? You're gonna find out your own way. And hey, wish I would have known. Wish I would have known. Wish I would have known. Wish I would. Wish I could. Far from home, on my own. I'm all alone. Wish I would have known.
I'm Jimmy Ray. You're listening to Arts News here on KSMU. That was a little snippet of Wish I, song number 5 off of Kilroy, Joe Dillstrom and the 5 O'Clock Charlie's new record. And we have Joe Dillstrom here in the Arts News studio today. And whenever you finish off a record like this, is it the kind of thing, a lot of times you work on it,
Yeah.
and then you just never think about it again? Or you plan to release any vinyl? Or are you going to be doing any plans down the road? Or is
Yeah.
it just right on to the next thing?
I'm still hoping to release it on vinyl. Right now, the cost of vinyl is kind of fluctuating, so
Yeah.
it's a little bit of a wait and see. But that's certainly a bucket list thing,
Yeah.
But more generally, once it's done, there is like a window in which I'm like, oh boy, I'm so glad I don't have to hear it again. You know how that goes.
Yeah,
And then with a little bit of time, I kind of get back to earth and I go, oh, I feel good about it.
Yeah.
I just through the mixing and mastering process, it's just hard to not lose sight of the thing.
Yeah, yeah, it does turn it very technical, and your ears just get worn right out.
Yeah, yeah.
But all that usually does pay off, as you say, because then when it lands and it's out there and it's its own thing,
Exactly.
That's where you can respect it and really love it.
Especially when you go back to it later and you're like, oh, okay, there's the magic again. There's the thing I felt when we were doing it,
Yeah.
and that's really gratifying.
So is this just studio project with the 5 O'Clock Charlies here? Are you going to start doing some shows? What's the vibe there?
I'm kind of ruminating on that. With the summer, it's always tough because everybody's busy, everybody's working. But there is kind of a broader plan for that kind of a combo that I'd like to get going. It's just kind of wait and see and plan it out for now.
Yeah. Well, the Paper Moons, which you played with before, and last
Yeah.
record, they're kind of on hiatus. Some folks moved away, so
Yeah.
room for maybe some other performances here. with
You
the
got
band.
it, man. You got it. And I've got a new batch of songs that I'm working on. I've probably got about half toward a record going.
Nice.
And so as you know, it kind of a little seed will kind of start to sprout and it'll sort of point you in a direction. And so I'm letting those kind of grow for now, and I think that'll kind of help guide that process.
Many times, I think just finding the time to do it is number one.
Sure.
Obviously, there's some inspirational things that need to come to light. Is it more of a discipline for you, or is it more of a wait and let the muse tap you on the shoulder type?
It's I find that it's at its best when I kind of regularly check in with it, but I don't spook it. So what I try to do is, for some reason, I'm kind of the best in the morning. Like I'm the most in touch with my creativity, I suppose. So I'll try to just check in with it, see where it's at. If I'm not feeling anything, I'll just set it aside. It's taken me years to learn how to do that because I used to just be like, you got to
Force it.
Yes. And then what you get is like nowhere near what you had felt initially. So a little bit of pruning and kind of consistent check-in so that when those moments do happen, you're ready for them. That's what I find works for me,
Yeah. Any collabs or co-writes, or best by yourself, you think?
I want to collab and co-write more because I find that like that just really enriches something. So it's not so much a loner thing. It's just been like that. That's just kind of the way I've done it. But I'd love to get some more writing with other folks,
Yeah. I think it just takes making that decision and the effort to actually go do it. You know what I mean? And
Totally.
a lot of times on my attempts, you don't always get something.
Sure.
But the time spent together
Yes.
always builds into something within yourself or farther down the road.
Absolutely.
Even if those songs don't come.
And here's a broader approach that I've started taking to everything. Like when the guys and I went into the studio, I told them, I said, look, don't worry about, we've got to get results or whatever. Just think about this as going fishing, right? Hopefully we're going to catch some fish, but if we don't, we'll just go fishing again down the road. And I'm starting to try to think of like writing and collabing that way too, where it's like, let's go fishing and let's not like be like, we have to get a song,
Right, yeah. Well, now all I'm thinking about is fishing.
I know. And we could finally go. The rain is kind of taking a break.
Yeah, this week will be it. Well, it's an interesting concept because the muse don't like to be forced. Just like
Indeed.
you said in the writing process, it will not be forced.
Exactly.
If you force it, it will show.
And it's so easy to put unnecessary pressure on yourself in that way. And I find that even if I've got a good line or like a good little passage, but the rest of it is maybe shaky, that's enough to bring to the table and go, well, here's a good thing, and I can't seem to work out the edges. Like maybe we can reshape it or sculpt it, and that that can be helpful.
Yeah. Are the guys chiming in?
Everybody's got just good stuff. Like Seth had some really good ideas about just arrangement and direction through making that record, and I always try to just get something ready enough to present, but open enough to be molded and sculpted,
Yeah, indeed. If you're just joining me, I have Joe Dillstrom in the Arts News studio here. And he's got a new record, came out a few weeks ago, entitled Kilroy. It's Joe Dillstrom and the 5 O'Clock Charlies, featuring Seth Darby, featuring Stevie Newman, featuring Jody Cottengim, and the great Paul Carabello. Now, producer credit, probably you.
Yeah, me and Paul, that's one area that I struggle with, just because, I'm sure you've experienced this where it's like I've written the song, the chords, the melody, et cetera, lyrics, and then I play it, and then my brain sort of shuts down. It's kind of like, okay, your part is done.
Right.
But then you've got to widen it, go, what does the track need?
Yeah.
So, there was some growth in this record in terms of putting on that producer hat. I find it's easier when I listen to someone else's song and I can more objectively go, oh, hey, a pedal steel would be cool, or, drums doing whatever. So learning how to apply that to my own stuff is something that I'm still growing at. But it was a really nice effort with Paul, kind of go, what does this need? What does it not need? I always kind of go less is more, and I'm trying to kind of loosen up on that and go, maybe sometimes more is more. So with the next one, I'm hoping to maybe get a little less understated, I suppose.
Sure. Excellent. When it comes to songwriting, before we go, what's the method for you? Is it words on a page first? Is it got the guitar humming a melody? Is it everything coming together at once? What's that process look like?
It's usually kind of get something going on the guitar, and then maybe I'll hear a melody kind of gliding through it, and then that'll suggest images and phrases, which I'll try to kind of get down. And then, because I know that those can be kind of bent and adjusted within the framework. I wish that I could do it lyrics on the page and then construct a song around it. One of my favorite songwriters, Taylor Goldsmith of Dawes, that's what he does. It's just all lyrics, and then that's part of why his stuff is so kind of literary and wonderful. For me, it's more like from the song out, and then I can... Well, and another weird thing that can happen is sometimes I'll write something over here, and it'll make its way into the thing I'm working on over here. And it's like, okay, cool. Like it just subconsciously ended up like puzzle pieces, I guess.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But it's a little different every time, too.
Sure. And there's no wrong way. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
That's the thing about art.
Absolutely.
Well, you can stream this on Spotify or pretty well anywhere that folks stream music.
Anywhere you want to hear it,
Yeah. And you just look up Joe Dillstrom. He's got another record as well on there. This one's called Kilroy. It's Joe Dillstrom and the 5 O'Clock Charlies. You can be on the lookout for Joe playing around town as well. Socials, website, anything you want him to know?
Oh, man, just if you just punch my name in, Joe Dillstrom Music, my last name will pretty much take you where you want to go,
Yeah, very good. Very good. Looking forward to the next one, Joe. Thanks for dropping in, and we'll go out here on another tune from Joe Dillstrom and the 5 O'Clock Charlies off this album, Kilroy. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, buddy.
There's something about this time of year. My thoughts, they never seem to clear at night. I lay awake, and in my dreams I see the plot, but by the morning I forgot I'm not the spy say. I'm falling down again. I'm just falling down again. Panic attacks, shopping malls, retail terror seizes all and takes hold of me. Had this a while, but it's been worse, or it's had me, I'm not for sure, and nothing is as it seems. I'm falling down again. I'm just falling down again. Yuletide smiles, eggnog. She worked for a while in a coffee shop and light. The leaves blew away. Christmas lights in a frost. The price that you pay is not the cost, but I'm hanging on today. I'm falling down again. I'm falling down.
I'm Jimmy Ray. You're listening to Arts News here on KSMU. That was Joe Dillstrom and the 5 O'Clock Charlies off his new record, Kilroy. That tune was called Falling Down. Couple quick reminders, folks. We have an arts newsletter here at KSMU. It's called The Green Room. I'll be your host every Friday morning to your inbox, talking about people, places, and things to do in the arts world of the Ozarks, just like Arts News here. So if you prefer a newsletter format, sign up for that at ksmu.org/thegreenroom. And folks, Arts News is now available as a podcast among other Ozarkian-based podcasts here from KSMU Studios. Arts, music, gardening, history, and more. You can find the full catalog of podcasts and figure out what shows you want to follow at ksmu.org/podcasts. KSMU meeting you where you're at for public media in the Ozarks. I'm Jimmy Ray. You're listening to Arts News here on KSMU, and a special guest with me today from the Springfield Regional Arts Council, Executive Director Leslie Forster. Welcome.
Good morning.
And a giant leap here for Springfield Arts. It's a creative roadmap for the Ozarks over the next 10 years. Springfield Regional Cultural Plan. I bet this was a huge endeavor.
It was. We spent about 18 months altogether from start to finish. And I said through the process, we don't want a fast plan, we want the right plan.
Yeah.
So we really took our time with it.
Yeah. So what does it actually look like? Were you I know there's lots of data and crunching numbers and getting feedback. Was it just y'all? Did you have outside help? What does a process like this look like?
We really made a concerted investment in this process. So we actually hired an organization called the Cultural Planning Group. This is what they specialize in. They work with communities from very small rural towns to major metropolitan areas and have been doing it for quite a while. And they had a really impressive track record. I saw the plan they did in Raleigh, Durham area, and was really impressed about what that storytelling looks like and formalizing that. So we brought them in to help us build a process that would ensure there was a lot of community engagement, making sure that we're hearing from all voices in our community to really have that outside perspective that, sometimes you can get really into the weeds when you're doing the daily work. So they were able to come in and really help us gain some new perspective.
Right. Interesting. For full transparency out there, I was in one of these focus groups early on,
Yes.
and it was very intensive and it was very broad. We talked about so many things,
Yes.
gathered a lot of data, and there was several other arts organizations and players there. So whenever you guys are looking for things to improve on, I'm sure you hear a lot of things.
Yes.
So how does it boil down to? Just the things that you hear the most of? Does this outside organization help you kind of, yes, we hear this a lot, and help you boil it down? How does that collaboration look between the two of you when you have all the data and the nuts and bolts are starting to come together? Because putting all that together can probably be a massive and intimidating task.
Yeah. And that's part of the reason why we brought them in. I couldn't imagine myself trying to sift through all of that because we had a ton of community engagement. I think by the end of it, from all of our focus groups, community events, and surveys, we had at least 1,000 touch points.
Oh, wow.
Points of feedback, whether it was this anonymous survey, these really intensive focus groups that we actually used a facilitator, a local person. So it wasn't even me in the room because we wanted really good, honest feedback.
Sure.
So the Cultural Planning Group, we worked with David Plentner Sanders and Linda Flynn. They took all the data back and really synthesized and found a number of areas that actually were repeated quite frequently to help start to boil down. And then they brought a great perspective to that to say, we've seen success to address these issues in other communities of similar size and scale when they approached it this way. And so they really gave us some concrete ideas and strategies to address the goals that are identified in there.
Things that have worked elsewhere,
Yes.
ways to implement things. Flipping through this cultural plan, a lot of statistics, a lot of percentages and stuff. So what's some of those things that you boiled down to? What were some of the challenges? What were some of the things that the community members or the arts organizations or other touch points had to say? What spots that need to be improved upon or grown upon?
Yeah.
Because we know that Springfield has a robust cultural and arts center. So I report on it every week. You're in it every single day as well. So we kind of know, and we can take it for granted, I think. So what are the kind of things that we're looking to grow upon and try to make more accessible?
So the plan itself has 3 overarching areas, 3 goals, and then about a bazillion strategies under those to achieve the goals. But the first goal really focuses on the external. So one of the most consistent pieces of feedback we heard was communication, promotion. I don't hear about things until they're over, so it's really focused on external, or really focusing on our residents and visitors, business leaders, and other people who are not already plugged in to the arts community.
Folks out here trying to do DIY marketing for so many
Yes.
great events or organizations, and they just slip through the cracks in this digital noise.
Exactly, right? Because trying to promote through social media, you kind of get into an echo chamber and you hear the people who are already connected, but it's really hard to connect with somebody new.
Yeah.
So that was a consistent piece of feedback, both from residents and audiences, as well as arts organizations and artists and musicians and creatives. So how do we we start to address, and really to sum up that whole section, it's really about engagement. How do we engage our audiences, future audiences, potential audiences? And then goal number 2 is looking a bit more internally, and how do we strengthen the systems that we have and provide the resources the artists and the creative community need. So it's talking about facilities. What if we had more studio spaces? What if we had rehearsal halls? What if we had more professional development so we can support a truly creative economy and support creative entrepreneurs, because that's what artists and musicians are, right? It's just a different term for entrepreneurship. It's creative. Yeah. So what tools and resources, incubation support can we provide as a community, and utilize the tools that we already have here in that entrepreneurship world to support the creative side of things.
The folks that are here already creating, and make sure that they stay here, but possibly bring people in, give them an infrastructure and a support system where artists can come in and begin to create.
Exactly, because there's room for everyone here. And I think that's part of the beauty of this region, is that you don't have to like bump somebody out of the way to make space for yourself. There's space for you here. Yeah. And so if we can create the resources, or just realign resources in a way that makes them more accessible and welcoming to a broader group of people, then that should be a priority for us. Sure. So that second goal is all about strengthening that infrastructure. And then the third goal focuses on how do we sustain. So we're looking at the systems in which we're all operating. So things like as glamorous as reviewing policies and permitting processes. What if hosting community festivals were a little bit easier? Yeah. Looking at downtown commercial street nightlife and creating a really vibrant nightlife economy that supports the creative community and playing gigs and all of that sort of thing. Is the system set up well to support that? But it also has a lot to do with money too, because just like any business, we need investment in the creative sector of the economy. So creating operational funds. What if we were able to do more grant making for individuals? Because right now that is very, very hard to find. Sure. So if an artist is looking to go off and do a residency and bring something back to our community, it's really expensive to do that. Or in an emergency situation, somebody breaks into your car and steals all your gear. How do you rebuild from that? Yeah. So thinking both in the sustaining realm from growth, but also into support when things are tough, because when the economy is rough, when natural disasters strike, the arts community usually takes a very heavy hit. And so if we had some systems and resources in place to really support recovery faster, we build a more resilient arts and culture community. And arguably Springfield has a very resilient arts and culture community already, which we learned unfortunately through the pandemic. But what were the pieces that we missed and we can really build on? So that third goal is all about sustaining and growth, so that whatever we start to build in from this plan remains strong and healthy, and that we can build on that foundation moving forward.
Yeah. It sounds like an excellent endeavor. If you're just joining me, I have Executive Director of the Springfield Regional Arts Council here with me, Leslie Forrester, and the release of a creative roadmap for the Ozarks. It's called This Place We Make. It's a 10-year cultural plan for Springfield and the region. We're not just talking about Springfield here, right? We really want to be reaching into the outer communities, the smaller towns, the rural areas. Talk a little bit about how we can bring those outer communities into this plan and make sure that just because you're not in the heart of Springfield, that you're not left behind.
Yeah, I think the beauty of our region is that there is a wealth of culture that exists all over Southwest Missouri. The culture that exists in Springfield is going to be different than what exists in Seymour and Pineville and Joplin. And so really this plan, just for the purposes of sort of setting some boundaries, we focused on the Halo cities, the immediately surrounding communities, which have fantastic cultural opportunities. I'm thinking of the Ato Center in Nixa. Yeah. What an incredible facility that we have there. Yeah. And, city lines should not dictate where those relationships exist and where we can talk about and promote each other. And the more we do promote the work that's happening as a region, the better it is for all of us, because it just broadens the scope. So you come visit Springfield and discover this rich community, but also you discover the richness that is around that Ozarkian culture that is so unique and special to us, because the Ozarkian culture here is certainly different than what exists in southeast Missouri or even northwest Arkansas.
Yes.
And so the unique attributes that exist here, what has grown out of here, the level of talent that exists in this region is incredible, right? And we know all the names that have come through and built those early careers here, but they have built their careers in a variety of communities, not just in Springfield. Springfield doesn't have everything. Springfield is not the end-all be-all. And when we look at ourselves as a cohort of that regional engagement, it's just a more rich experience and more rich opportunity for us. So the plan, we sought feedback from the region about what they were doing, what are their priorities, and help feed that into this plan. So it's not us dictating what a region should do, but learning from what the region is doing and where they're finding success and where maybe we all need to be working together to see better success. So like the marketing piece of this, that first goal is really talking about a regional marketing plan and really talking about the region's cultural assets as an attraction tool, which is helpful because it is a funding tool for a lot of us receiving hotel motel funds. So we want more people to come to Springfield to experience that culture and to come to Nixa to see a great show at the Atos or to experience one of the festivals on the square in Ozark. That aspect is such an important piece because we have lines of where our city limits exist. That's just for governmental operations. We are a community here as a group. Nobody else is going to say, well, they live in Nixa, it's not the same as Springfield. That's not the case. We are a community here that some people happen to live in Nixa, some people happen to live in Springfield, and how much more beautiful it can be when we really look at this as sort of a fabric or a quilt of all of the different elements that make up this culture that's unique to us.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I'm Jimmy Ray, listening to Arts News here on KSMU, an exciting 10-year cultural plan for Springfield and the surrounding region. This Place We Make is what it's entitled. It's a creative roadmap for the Ozarks, how to move forward. So we talked about the goals, 3 points here, and areas that we want to improve on. Strategies over the next 10 years. These things don't happen overnight.
Right.
So what does it look like whenever we start trying to improve upon certain areas? What's it look like in steps-wise over weeks and months and years? I mean, is it the Springfield Regional Arts Council trying to take on this heavy load all by itself? Or are you partnering up with people? What are some of the steps moving forward over the next 10 years that folks can start to see and or be a part of to help make this cultural plan come to fruition?
Yeah, this plan is not just the Arts Council's alone. We developed it very intentionally. We happen to be the shepherd of the process, but it was so heavily focused on the community that this is the community's plan. And so within the plan, you'll see some identified partners and potential leaders of different strategies within that. So the Arts Council as an organization, we'll actually start strategic planning in July, identifying which of these strategies we want to take on as an organization first in this first year. But the hope then is that the arts culture community broadly will take this plan and identify this is a piece of it that I can engage in, or that our organization is perfectly positioned to tackle that challenge. Or a lot of these pieces are topics that will require a lot of partners to engage in. So like a regional marketing plan, that is something that we will aim to develop to identify the cultural identity of Springfield and how we talk about this region to attract those visitors. But that is a piece that will, in order to make that successful, we'll need the arts community broadly to engage in it and use it as part of their language as they talk about their own projects. Like public art, that is not the work of the Arts Council historically. We have really fantastic partners like Sculpture Walk Springfield that have built a really strong foundation of what public art looks like. So the next steps in the plan are helping to formalize Sculpture Walk and the work that they're doing and giving them the resources they need and building plans to give them the support and help show direction about where they're going. So there are so many different directions and pieces identified in here that it's certainly designed to be a community plan, and that when we all show up together to execute these strategies, we're going to see great returns on that over the next 10 years. Yeah. So really the next phase of this, now we've launched it and we've spent 18 months doing it, but that was really the easy part. Now we get to start working on how do we execute these strategies. So we'll spend, strategy time identifying how we're going to implement this over 10 years. That's really the next phase of this, is identifying in what order we do it. What is the most logical order of operations to be efficient and maximize the success?
Yeah.
And really making sure there are people at the table. The other part of this as well is building an advisory group around this to make sure that it doesn't become a dusty relic on the shelf. That is the worst thing that could possibly happen with this plan, is that we say, great, we checked a box and I'm going to put it up there because it looks pretty and we're done. That would be the worst outcome here. Right. So we want the community to stay engaged in this process and asking the questions about where we are, how can I help, which organization is taking the lead here, and so we can keep monitoring over 10 years, because that's a long time to be working on a plan. Yeah. So how can we kind of keep the momentum going? Because it's strong momentum right now because it's new and it's really exciting. So that will be an important part of the next steps this year as well.
Well, I love it because it's a creative roadmap. It's something everybody can turn to instead of individual artists or organizations wandering about on their own in the dark, reaching for whatever they might be able to find. We can all look to this as a guide to where we need to be going. Setting it up and now knocking it down. It's time to walk the walk after we've talked the talk, right? Yes. So that comes in a lot of forms. It comes in day-to-day work of organizations. It comes in the creative work of individual artists. It comes in the form of making sure that if you love the arts as a consumer of the arts, where you're spending your dollars at, where you're putting your attention to, how you can help in various ways. And this roadmap is just the start of that. Leslie Forrester from the Springfield Regional Arts Council. You all do such great work over there. Keep up the good work. Let's keep looking at this roadmap over the next 10 years, communicating about what we want and acting on it.
Yes. Thank you, Jimmy.
For more information about the Springfield Regional Arts Council and this cultural plan, you can visit springfieldarts.org. I'm Jimmy Ray. You're listening to Arts News here on KSMU. Support for Arts News is provided by the Moxie Cinema, currently presenting Romaria, reading Lolita in Tehran, Summer Tour, and Maddie's Secret. Showtimes and ticket information at moxiecinema.com. I'm Jimmy Ray. Welcome to Arts News here on KSMU. Springfield Little Theater has announced its 2026-2027 Education Department season at the Judith Inyart Reynolds School of the Performing Arts, better known as the Judy, featuring productions, educational programs, and community events designed to engage performers and audiences of all ages. A new addition this year is the Literature to Life series, which brings classic works of literature to the stage through productions of Freckleface Strawberry, Little Women, and The Miracle Worker. The education series will include Charlotte's Web, Olympus, the Greek rock musical, and Trolls Jr., while the youth entertainment series features Disney's Descendants, the musical, Radium Girls, and the complete works of William Shakespeare abridged, revised again. Students from the Springfield Public Schools Academy of the Fine and Performing Arts will present The Big One, Oh Junior, and SLT Academy high school students will perform Hadestown Teen Edition. The season also continues SLT on Wheels, a touring program that brings live theater to elementary schools across the Ozarks with Don't Let the Pigeon Drive the Bus, the musical. Along with returning community events, including Built for Kids Big Summer Splash and Show Your Character. Education Director Lorianne Dunn said the department's mission extends beyond producing shows. She says, our education department isn't simply about producing shows, it's about creating experiences that help young people grow as artists and people. The 2026-2027 Education Department season begins this fall. For more information about auditions, classes, performances, and volunteer opportunities, visit springfieldlittletheater.org/education. And more community theater in the Ozarks. High Tide Theatrical opened the Tony Award-winning comedy God of Carnage this week. High Tide Theatrical is located in the Light Room Lounge at Martha's Vineyard, downtown Springfield. The play follows two sets of parents who meet to discuss a playground fight between their children. What begins as a polite conversation quickly devolves into a hilarious and increasingly chaotic examination of marriage, parenting, and the thin line between civility and conflict. Directed by Clayton Avery, the production started Wednesday night, runs tonight and tomorrow as well, marking High Tide's third main stage production of the 2026 season. We've covered High Tide in the past. Performances include a college night, which is happening tonight, and a relaxed performance on Saturday afternoon. The intimate production is recommended for ages 13 and older due to strong language, mature themes, and depictions of interpersonal conflict. Running approximately 90 minutes without an intermission, God of Carnage offers audiences a fast-paced comedy that examines the fragile veneer of modern manners through sharp dialogue and biting satire. It's High Tide Theatrical presenting God of Carnage. It will run tonight and tomorrow. Tickets and additional information are available through High Tide Theatrical and their website, which is hightidesgf.org. And from theater to cinema, College Station Theaters has become the only movie theater in Springfield to receive Disney's new Infinity Vision certification, a designation recognizing premium large format auditoriums that meet the studio's standards for presentation quality. Developed by the Walt Disney Studios, the Infinity Vision program certifies theaters with expansive screens, advanced projection, immersive sound, and high-performance auditoriums designed to present films as filmmakers intended. College Station's 4 premier large-format auditoriums have earned the designation. The certification also gives the locally owned theater access to exclusive Disney events and content. Among the first will be an advanced ticket sale for Avengers Doomsday, which went on sale on July 20th, nearly 5 months before the film's December 18th release. Infinity Vision certified theaters will also host exclusive screenings on December 18th. Future Infinity Vision presentations may include filmmaker introductions, behind-the-scenes featurettes, exclusive post-credit content, and promotional giveaways depending on the release. The theater will also participate in the Avengers Endgame Encore release on September 25th, featuring bonus content created specifically for Infinity Vision locations. College Station Theaters reopened under local ownership and continued investing in premium amenities, including laser projection, Dolby Atmos sound, heated reclining seats, and large format screens. It's Southwest Missouri's only locally owned first-run movie theater. More information on this and tickets are available through College Station Theater's website at collegestationtheaters.com. College Station Theater is located downtown Springfield, 415 West College Street. And from the screen to the page, the independent bookstore Bookmarks will celebrate the expansion of its downtown Springfield location with a grand reopening and a week of literary events beginning tonight, Friday, July 24th. The expanded store featuring additional space for books and movies, along with The Footnote, a new venue dedicated to author talks, literary discussions, theatrical performances, and community events. The celebration begins with a grand opening literary costume party from 5 to 10 p.m. tonight. Guests are encouraged to dress as their favorite literary character or author. The evening will also serve as a donation drive for the kitchen, with customers who bring an item from the organization's needs list receiving 20% off of their purchase. The celebration and programming continues through the weekend and through next week, with a local author showcase happening tomorrow, a community discussion focused on Springfield's cultural future on Wednesday, a Bookmarks Book Club meeting on Thursday, and an author talk by St. Louis writer and journalist Devin Thompson O'Shea on Friday. The week concludes August 1st with a children's story time featuring former Missouri Poet Laureate David L. Harrison and a themed craft activity presented by Arrow Creative Reuse. Founded in 2014 by Joshua Arnett and Harvey Day Arnett, Bookmarks is an independent new and used bookstore specializing in literature, history, philosophy, science fiction, and children's books. The store is also home to Mr. Gugorium's Movie Emporium, a video rental shop. More information at bookmarksbookshop.com, and that's bookmarks with an X. An exciting new expansion with a week of celebrations starting tonight as the resident kitten, Ms. Cyrano, will cut the ribbon and unveil this new space at Bookmarks. And from the page to the stage, Ozark Lyric Opera has unveiled its 2026-2027 season, featuring 3 productions that span classic opera, dramatic storytelling, and symphonic rock. The season opens September 18th and 20th with Rossini's La Cenerentola, or Cinderella, marking the company's first fully staged production of the comic opera. Performed in Italian with English supertitles, the production will feature costumes from Sarasota Opera, hand-painted scenery, and an international cast. And Puccini's Tosca follows on March 18th and 21st of 2027. Conducted by Kyle Wiley Pickett and directed by Alice Wiley Pickett, the opera tells a story of love, betrayal, and political intrigue, and is widely regarded as one of the composer's most celebrated works. The season concludes May 15th, 2027, with the return of opera rock symphonic, combining a rock band, full symphony orchestra, and operatic solos. Artistic director Michael Spires will once again join the performance, which features symphonic arrangements of classic rock songs. Ozark's Lyric Opera also highlights its ongoing investment in professional artists, noting the organization paid nearly $170,000 to artists during the past year, representing nearly half of its annual expense, which I will note is incredible, and kudos to them. Season subscriptions are now available with discounted pricing offered through July 31st. More information and season subscriptions can be found at their website, ozarkslyricopera.com. And if you've heard me in the past, you may know I struggle sometimes with these foreign works, words, and pronunciations. I look them up, I practice them, and I do my best with this James River dialect that I have. So no need for emails or voicemails about my sloppy pronunciation of this or other works of foreign origin. Thank you for your grace in this realm right here on Arts News KSMU. Howdy, y'all. And the Moxie Cinema is introducing 2 new community initiatives this year. A free film series exploring Missouri's history and culture through cinema, and an inaugural dog-themed film festival that doubles as a fundraiser for the nonprofit theater and local pet rescue organizations. The free humanities series, entitled The Story of Us, Missouri Through Film, begins next week, July 28th, and is presented in partnership with Drury University with support from the Missouri Humanities Council. The series features 6 films connected to Missouri, including Waiting for Guffman, Paper Moon, and Meet Me in St. Louis. Each screening will be followed by a community discussion exploring the state's history, culture, and identity. The Moxie is also accepting submission for its first ever Dogcademy Awards, inviting filmmakers and dog owners to submit short films or photos starring their canine companions. Categories range from still photography to 5-minute films, with submissions open now through August 15th. Accepted entries will be screened during the weekend events in September before accumulating in a Dogcademy Awards Gala on October 3rd at Mother's Brewing Company. The event will feature a red carpet experience, awards presentation, and a showcase of selected films while raising funds for the Moxie and local pet rescue organizations. Executive Director of the Moxie, Joe Dole, said both initiatives reflect the Moxie's mission of bringing the community together through film, whether by exploring Missouri's cultural heritage or celebrating the stories people share with their pets. More information can be found at their website, moxiecinema.com. And Austin, Texas-based string band Big Love Car Wash returns to the Shoe Tree Listening Room at Arrow Creative Reuse on Sunday, July 26th for an intimate alcohol-free concert highlighting the group's blend of bluegrass, folk, jazz, Celtic, and rock influences. The performance begins at 7 p.m. at Arrow Creative Reuse. It's located at 616 West Tampa Street, with doors opening at 6:30 p.m. Limited general admission tickets are available for $20. The quartet describes its sound as heart-forward dreamgrass, combining traditional bluegrass with contemporary songwriting that explores themes of empathy, environmentalism, social justice, and community. Big Love Car Wash formed after its members first performed together during a bluegrass gig in Austin. The band released its self-produced debut album Daydream in 2025 and earned second place in the Telluride Bluegrass Band competition during its first national tour that same year. The band's name is inspired by late Yonder Mountain String Band frontman Jeff Austin, who once described the feeling of connecting with an audience as moving through a Big Love car wash. More information and tickets are available through Arrow Creative Reuse at their website, arrowcreativereuse.org, or the band's website, biglovecarwash.com. That's coming up this Sunday, July 26th at 7 p.m. at the Shoe Tree Listening Room. And we will go out this week on a Big Love Car Wash song ahead of their concert at the Shoe Tree Listening Room this Sunday. Here is this song entitled I Won't Write Murder Ballads off of their 2025 release Daydream right here on Arts News, folks. We'll see you next week.
A man loves a woman, that's how it always starts. But he's poisoned by a jealousy, a longing, or an evil in his heart. He comes up with a plan to rid himself of worry. He'll rid the world of that poor girl if she will not be his to love and marry. It seems the perfect plan. People do it all the time. He's even heard of emperors and kings who got away with it just fine. And what is he to do? Turn his mind into an altar for suffering she's caused, and allow his courage and his pride to falter. With every gallows stands the story of a man, tells his gruesome tale before he passes. Where every hanging man gives wisdom of the damned. I'll stand among the crowd and I'll write